Welcome back to Game On. Now time to discuss football out in Germany. And of course, Shane McGregor returns in interesting times out in Germany. For one, Bayern Munich, well, they continued their good run with a hot 3-2 win over Wolfsburg.
Yeah, a very good win for them.
Yeah.
You know, they always struggle against Wolfsburg, funny enough, and I don't know why. It's just one of those things. But a good win. At this stage of the season, a win is the most important because you've got to keep in front of a Leverkusen. It's a two-way race between these two.
Yeah. Speaking of Leverkusen, they had the 3-1 win over a Gladbach, and important that every time Bayern win, they keep the pressure on Bayern, of course. Yeah. They're doing that since the start of the year.
They have to keep on the pressure, you know, and what a coach he's turned out to be, Alonso. You know, he's turned that club around like you can't believe, and everyone thought it'll be a one-season wonder, and he's just shown that it's not, you know, and they'll keep on getting the results. He keeps on fighting.
Well, he's got quite a test ahead of him today, later on in the afternoon, by Leverkusen away to Leipzig, one of my favourite sides to watch, of course.
Never easy going to Leipzig, you know, but my worry is I think Leipzig at the moment are struggling a little bit, you know, and I'm not too sure why. We've had this conversation before about them selling players, whatever. Difficult game to call. Leverkusen must win to keep up the pressure. Leipzig have got nothing to lose, basically. If you look where they are in the log, it's a matter of trying to get up into their top three positions. I just think Leverkusen will have too much for them, even though it is away. I think they'll be more professional. We're not saying that Leipzig are unprofessional. I just think that they'll go about it more professionally and get the job done.
Munich away to Freiburg. Your thoughts on that encounter?
Difficult game going to Freiburg, and it always is difficult, especially now coming off. If you look midweek, Munich got beaten and well beaten, where they needed to win. So now, how do they bounce back? What do they do? How are they going to react? Going away as well. I think we could see a bit of an upset show and a draw on the cards. I really do. You know, I do think Bayern Munich have got the better squad, but I think there could be a little bit of an upset show and a draw on the cards.
Then there's always the curious case of Borussia Dortmund, lost 3 on the trot most recently. They've fallen off the map somewhat. They are at home to Werder Bremen trying to turn things around.
I don't know what's happened, Joe, with the Dortmund team. You know, they were one of my favourite teams.
Currently 10th in the log.
Exactly. Nothing's happening for them this season. And I don't know if you've ever seen a game at their stadium.
Yeah. One of the best crowds, one of the best atmospheres in Europe. Yeah.
Exactly. So I don't understand what's going on. I think once again, selling too many players, not bringing in enough players. You know, obviously they have to sell to survive, and that's caught up with them. So this is a very difficult game to call. I think a draw on the cards.
Just a few years ago, this is a club that was competing right at the top.
Exactly.
Up until the last day, they had the likes of Haaland there, and they had what looked an exciting young squad. What happened over the last couple of years?
Sold them all, and that's where it's caught up with them. You can't keep on selling players and keep on doing it. You know, selling players is not going to help you. It helps you survive, but the problem is you're not going to compete, and that's what's happened with them this year.
So interesting times out in Germany. Eintracht Frankfurt away to Hoffenheim.
Big Frankfurt, one of the big surprises of the season, going well. Go to Hoffenheim, it's going to be a difficult game at Hoffenheim. You know, away games is always a little bit more difficult than your home games. Frankfurt are going very well. They're getting results. They just seem to keep on doing it week in, week out. I feel they'll get the results again, you know, and get a victory. Like I say, never easy going away from home, but Frankfurt, surprise package of the year so far. They were like Leverkusen last year, but I think I'll get the job done.
So it's Nottingham Forest in England, it's Frankfurt out in Germany, the sides that are, well, raising an eyebrow with how they performed so far. Maybe locally one could include Polokwane City as well, in sides that have punched way above their weight. So that's our look at, of course, the game out in Germany. On the other side of this, we've got an interesting interview talking about all things, about women football here in the South African game with Veli Lemnyando. Well, as we promised, a special interview, of course, with Veli with regards to the Hollywood Bets Super League Awards at the end of yet another great season in as far as the beautifully ladies South African game, I think it's safe to say. Veli, thanks so much for your time. Firstly, let's talk about it. The fact that the ladies game is not only growing, but now it's years that they've been having their own award ceremony, which is great for the ladies, of course.
And I think also, Sizwe, we must also give credit to Hollywood Bets for this, and also to SABC Sport, because SABC Sport, week in, week out, when the season is underway, they are showing this league, and they've been doing it at a time when it was unfashionable, when there was no sponsor at all. They're still called the SAFA National Women's League, using its own resources towards women's football in the country. And I think now when Hollywood Bets came on board, we saw a more organized and also commercially viable league as well. Even though it is still not a professional women's league, but you can see that with the assistance of Hollywood Bets and what that kind of look that it gives to this league, it makes it attractive to those who want to see women's football growing in the country.
Now, obviously, some of the excitement is in some of the awards. And for me, the Young Player of the Season is something that grabbed my attention commentating some of these games. You notice the ages of some of the youngsters that are playing there. And in the Young Player of the Season award, you've got Ukwezi Khoza from Durban Ladies, 15 years of age. Untando Pata from University of Pretoria, 18 years of age. No Sikilelwa Mhlanga from City Lads, 18 years of age. So when we say Young Player of the Year, we really are talking young player, and we're developing them at quite a high level.
And you know, before I even just go to the names when it comes to this category, the young player, you just look at two clubs you've mentioned. City Lads, they've got a young lady who's just returned also from Spain. Spent 10 months in Spain, you know, and now, and also even the owner of the club, Sis Nomalungelo Boy, is someone who's been long involved in football. So, and you also go to Durban Ladies. Durban Ladies, this is a club owned by Mary Jane Sokela, who's been involved in women's football, or just in football in general, since the early 90s. And you also look, this is the club where former Banyana captain Amanda Dlamini started her football, serious football as well. And unfortunately, you know, I had the opportunity to meet this young lady, Ukwezi Khoza, in the under-17 camp. And she scored the first goal last week against a Gabon top striker, one for the future. And I think in the next FIFA, in fact, SAFA Girls Academy, she's definitely in there. And I think for me, for a 15-year-old to be playing in this league and making this impression, and this is what we've seen in the Hollywood Bets Super League. We've seen these young ladies who come up and also show an impression up to Banyana.
We've had her as a guest in the studio, Ubutumelo Rabale from Mamelodi Sundowns, top goal scorer this season from Lesotho. Unbelievable player, unbelievable contribution to the game here in South Africa.
Top player. And not because I'm the chairperson of the South African Football Journalists Association, which is also backed by Hollywood Bets. And also bear in mind that we were the first to honor women's football in terms of an award back in 2021 or 2020, around then. And it was also sponsored by Hollywood Bets. And she is the reigning SAFJA Women's Football of the Year. And I think with the quality, there's no doubt about it.
Well, when you talk quality, of course, thank you for the quality you've brought once again to Game On, and we look forward to the next time we do have you. And quality is what we've had in the just ended season in the women's game. We look forward to the next, and we hope it gets better and better as things move along. We hope you've enjoyed listening to Velile as well as Shane and Jerry. And we'll sign off in the best way we know how here on Game On. That's click, click, bang.